Number 6. Boy's handmade logo scores big.
When life hands you lemons, make lemonade. Well, keep that in mind as you learn about what happened to an elementary school student in Florida. He's a huge fan of the University of Tennessee. He proudly made his own UT logo, but when other students teased him about it, it really hurt his feelings. The university eventually found out what happened, and they were so impressed with his spirit, they turned his handmade logo into a real shirt.
One boy in Florida made the logo of UT, the University of Tennessee. Well, actually, his friend, no, not friend, but not the other child around him, picked up him on the logo, and he was really sad about it. And at the University of Tennessee found that fact, and they decided to make the logo that the boy made into the logo and T-shirt. So UT created a T-shirt with the logo that the boy made. That's a good story. And her English is pretty, it's easy to catch. Not dictation yet. Well, I'll answer the question here. Oh, I didn't check my answers yesterday. Why we called the main thing this news report? What is true?
Number 6. Boy's handmade logo scores big.
When life hands you lemons, make lemonade. Well, keep that in mind as you learn about what happened to an elementary school student in Florida. He's a huge fan of the University of Tennessee. He proudly made his own UT logo, but when other students teased him about it, it really hurt his feelings. The university eventually found out what happened, and they were so impressed with his spirit, they turned his handmade logo into a real shirt.
And the passion.
Number 6. Boy's handmade logo scores big.
When life hands you lemons, make lemonade. Well, keep that in mind as you learn about what happened to an elementary school student in Florida. He's a huge fan of the University of Tennessee. He proudly made his own UT logo, but when other students teased him about it, it really hurt his feelings. The university eventually found out what happened, and they were so impressed with his spirit, they turned his handmade logo into a real shirt.
Wait. Logo into a real shirt. He's a huge fan of the University of Tennessee. He probably made his own UT logo, but when other students teased him about it, it really hurt his feeling. The university actually found out what happened. I was really impressed. With the spirit, they turned his handmade logo into a real shirt.
Number 6. Boy's handmade logo scores big.
When life hands you lemons, make lemonade. Well, keep that in mind as you learn about what happened to an elementary school student in Florida. He's a huge fan of the University of Tennessee. He proudly made his own UT logo, but when other students teased him about it, it really hurt his feelings. The university eventually found out what happened, and they were so impressed with his spirit, they turned his handmade logo into a real shirt.
Into a real shirt. Let's take the passage. There you go. Boys have my logo scores big. Big. When life hands you lemons. でも6でもないもんな。6でもない。When life hands you lemons, when life hands you lemons, when life hands you lemons, make lemonade. Make lemonade. これ面白いね。When life hands you lemons, when life hands you when life hands you lemons, when life hands you lemons, when life hands you lemons, make lemonade. Well, keep that in mind as you learn about what happened to an elementary school student in Florida. He's a huge fan of the University of Tennessee. He proudly made his own UT logo. He proudly made his own UT logo. When other students teased him about it, it really hurt his feelings. The university eventually, the university eventually found out what happened, and they were impressed with the spirit. They turned his handmade logo into a real shirt. University of Tennessee. Yeah, with live hands you lemons make lemonade. Then hand you logo, score big. Oh, my project scored big. Many people joined the event, and hand me the handout. Can you hand handouts to the blah blah? Please keep that in mind. Please keep in mind that you have to go to the library first. Elementary school, that's okay. Huge fan, proudly make his own UT logo. Tease, hurt someone's feelings. Eventually turned out blah blah blah. Find out. 知るね。Impressed with. I was really impressed with the efforts that my students made. Spirit turned out to be sour, drawing, devastated. Right.
Number 6. Boy's handmade logo scores big.
When life hands you lemons, make lemonade. Well, keep that in mind as you learn about what happened to an elementary school student in Florida. He's a huge fan of the University of Tennessee. He proudly made his own UT logo, But when other students teased him about it, it really hurt his feelings. The university eventually found out what happened, and they were so impressed with his spirit, they turned his handmade logo into a real shirt.
Number 6.
Number 6.
Boys' handmade logo scores big.
big.
When life hands you lemons, make lemonade. Well, keep that in mind as you learn about what happened to an elementary school student in Florida. He's a huge fan of the University of Tennessee. He proudly made his own UT logo, but when other students teased him about it, it really hurt his feelings. The university eventually found out what happened, and they were so impressed with his spirit, they turned his handmade logo into a real shirt.
Boys' handmade logo scores big. When life hands you lemons. When life hands you lemons, make lemonade. Well, keep that in mind as you learn about what happened to an elementary school student in Florida. He's a huge fan of the University of Tennessee. He proudly made his own UT logo, but when other students teased him about it, it really hurt his feelings. It really hurt his feelings. The university eventually found out what happened, and they were so impressed with his spirit. They turned his handmade logo into a real shirt. Okay.
Number 6. Boys' handmade logo scores big.
When life hands you lemons, make lemonade. Well, keep that in mind as you learn about what happened to an elementary school student in Florida. He's a huge fan of the University of Tennessee. He proudly made his own UT logo, but when other students teased him about it, it really hurt his feelings. The university eventually found out what happened, and they were so impressed with his spirit, they turned his handmade logo into a real shirt.
Number 6.
Number 6.
Boys' handmade logo scores big.
When life hands you lemons, make lemonade. Well, keep that in mind as you learn about what happened to an elementary school student in Florida. He's a huge fan of the University of Tennessee. He proudly made his own UT logo, but when other students teased him about it, it really hurt his feelings. The university eventually found out what happened, and they were so impressed with his spirit, they turned his handmade logo into a real shirt.
No internet connection, please. Handmade logo, handmade logo. Oh, University of Tennessee. Oh, listen. Looks good. Come on.
All right, so with this next story, it starts with a popular old saying here in the U.S. When life hands you lemons, make lemonade. Keep that in mind as you learn about what happened to an elementary school student in the state of Florida. He's a huge fan of the University of Tennessee. He proudly made his own UT logo to wear on his shirt. Look at that. But when other people teased him about it, well, it hurt his feelings. The university eventually found out about what happened. They sent him a whole box of full official gear. And then here comes the lemonade part. They were so impressed with his spirit, they turned his handmade logo into a real t-shirt. Sales for that shirt have been off the charts, with proceeds helping to support anti-bullying foundations. From a guy who went to the other UT, University of Texas, hats off to the guys at Tennessee for doing so well by that young man.
That's right. That's right. Oh. Oh, no, not yet. Oh, about that. This one.
中国5000年の音楽と踊りが一夜に集約。目を見
This is what's called finding the positive in the negative, right? This was a horrible story with this kid. And kudos to the University of Tennessee, A, for reaching out once they heard about it and sending him this swag box. But B, more importantly, giving that kid something to feel even better about by empowering him. And that shirt that he was mocked at is now on their website and being sold in record numbers. That's just phenomenal. And that's finding the good in bad. And that's what we all need to do.
Yeah, I don't remember if Fitz got to mention it or not, but Laura Snyder is the boy's teacher at Altamont Elementary School. I hope I'm pronouncing the name of that school right.
Springs, Florida,
in Altamont Springs, Florida, who was the one that noticed all of this going on. And I guess that's the thing, is you want to congratulate a teacher for seeing, understanding, and noticing something that's going on with one of her students, and then taking action, and then reaching out to people on Twitter, trying to find a connection to the university, and it being scooped up like this. And we see instances of fan bases going above and beyond all the time. We saw that in the NFL when Andy Dalton at the end of last season helped throw the touchdown pass that sent the Bills to the playoffs.
2 years ago.
Bills fans donating to his charity, helping out in that cause. Fan base is stepping up in a lot of these instances, and this is another one where the Vols fans, who are, going through a tumultuous time with their football program, recognize something that was far more important.
Yeah, so just what a story. You know, the kid said he didn't have, that Tennessee shirt, so the orange shirt, and he kind of did what he did to it, and it was when he went to lunch, got mocked by people there, a group of people who weren't even involved in this, in wearing of any of their shirts, and came back and told the teacher and was absolutely devastated. And as you mentioned, the teacher took over from there, and this is what it blossomed into, really into an incredible story.
And I'm not kidding. I went on and tried to get one of these shirts yesterday. The website is still reeling from the amount of people that have gone. So the sheer volume of this support, we know that Vol Nation is certainly big. And again, all of
story that just keeps getting better and better every time we have something to report on this, all thanks to the support of Orange and White Nation, and it's in full force tonight.
You've likely heard the story of a young Vols fan in Florida bullied for wearing a homemade Tennessee shirt. His teacher posting to social media a week ago, asking for anyone with connections to Tennessee to get him an official shirt to wear during College Colors Week. And the results, well, so much more.
In just a few days, the Vol Shop partnered with local printing company Threads to bring the young boy's design to life. Printing shirts right now fill more than 50,000 pre-orders.
50,000.
On your side, 50,000. You'll be joining us now here in the studio in Madison. Just what goes into making this sheer amount of T-shirts?
Oh, yeah. I mean, more than 50,000.
Yeah.
We've got hard work, a lot of overtime, and, of course, any sellers that Threads buys from, their supply of Tennessee orange-colored T-shirts. I mean, that's where it all starts, of course. But in Knoxville, partnered with the Vol Shop to bring the shirt to life, and to keep up with the demand, they're printing around 1,700 shirts every hour. Today, the first batch was delivered to the Vol Shop, and there's no chance they're slowing down anytime soon. Bringing a T-shirt to life.
Bringing a T-shirt to life.
And the right design.
There's a kid somewhere in Florida who just got brave one day and said, I'm going to be myself. I like Tennessee, and I'm going to go walking into my school with my shirt on.
That young Vols fan, now known around the world for his love of the orange and white. And his creativity that soon will be worn by thousands.
We're running 500 shirts an hour on each press, as hard as we can go.
At Threads in Knoxville, a company owned by
Actually, the workers are also wearing the shirt.
Taking stacks of plain Tennessee
Look at that.
shirts.
UT shirt.
I mean, we went to all vendors and we're like, we need Tennessee orange shirts. All of them. just in everything you have.
And turning them into a wearable display of Tennessee pride. The team here working extra hours to get the orders out ASAP. Proud of what the shirt represents.
They're thinking of like, you go kid, you know, you be yourself and we're going to help you and we're going to make this as big as we can make it.
That attitude behind every shirt, yeah, we got one. I know they're in demand. Now, Threads, a family-run company, they say everyone there, whether they're family or not, has the same energy that is being printed into every one of the now more than 50,000 shirts as it was when that little boy sat down in Florida and created his own. Kristen?
All right, Madison, great story here. And it'll be interesting to see how many orders for these shorts comes in the end.
Keeps growing.
It does keep growing. Now, by the way, everyone, we should also note another big item came out today. The boy who inspired all of All Nation is also getting a 4-year scholarship to the school.
That's right. UT has extended an offer of admission for him to join the class of 2032. The boy's tuition and fees would be waived if he decides to go to the university.
Be quiet, man. Well, that's crazy. That's crazy. The University of Tennessee even offered him the scholarship and then some, I don't know, pass to him to 2032. Oh, that's a great story. Actually, his teacher posted it on Twitter or some social networking service. It made the logo really score big. Right? And probably this is because the story behind this shirt will help the shirt become more popular than it actually would be. That's like building